Tadasana. Feet are together. Thigh muscles are active. Lower abdomen is drawn in. Lengthen the tailbone down so you release the lower back. Take the shoulders away from the ears. Lengthen through the arms. Spread your palms, spread your fingers, and keep the front and back of the neck long. Tuck the chin down and in, and keep reaching up through the crown of the head. So these are just basic points in Tadasana. Now what you're going to see is as you move through the practice, all these same coaching points are needed in all the other postures. So we're going to focus first on the legs and the feet. Run through Surya Namaskara, and you can see how you need to keep the same action in the legs as you move from one position to the other, and the same action in the feet too. Okay, so she's in Tadasana. We're inhaling, taking the arms up, palms together above the head or shoulder width apart. And then as you're exhaling, she's going to turn to the side so you can see. She's going to drop down, hinging at the hips, so folding forward. And in this position, you have an option to bend the knees or straighten the legs. Okay, now if you've got long hamstrings and your lower back is happy in this posture, then it's okay to straighten the legs. But if you find your spine is rounding, there you go, you've got this happening in the spine, you've got a lot of tension and pulling in the lower back, simply bend the knees and lift the sit bones up into the air, and that's going to help you to release the lower back. Make sure your head is heavy in this position and the neck is long. Okay, then from here we halfway lift, so you're inhaling, lengthening through the spine and the arms and gazing at the third eye, so you're looking between the eyebrows, middle of the forehead, and again the neck is long. And then as you exhale, you want to step back, taking the feet hip width apart and the body in one line for plank. Now again, the legs are active, thigh muscles are active, the toe bases are pressing into the floor. Okay, we're focusing here on the legs. Bend the knees to the floor. We're going to do the simple option, and then bend the elbows, taking the body down in one line. So you're coming down onto the floor, and from here, point the toes behind, press the feet into the floor, engage the thigh muscles. Same action. The feet are working into the floor, thigh muscles are active. And then pressing the hands into the floor, you're going to lift the upper body away from the floor, keep the shoulders away from the ears. And then as you exhale, coming down, press the hands into the floor, come up and back into downward facing dog. And again, still looking at the legs, thigh muscles are active, feet are pressing into the floor. So toe bases, grounding down into the floor. And here, many of us want to have the heels slightly away from the floor so we can get the lift in the sit bones and the spine releasing. If you can, press the heels towards the floor with the legs straight, it's okay. Keep the thigh muscles active. Or if you're finding the hamstrings are pulling and you're rounding into the lower back, like this, then you really need to bend the knees so you can release the spine. So you bend the knees, lift the sit bones up, and find release in the spine. Okay, and then moving forward, you're looking forward towards the top of the mat, soften the knees, and then as you inhale, you step in towards the top of the mat and halfway lift. Exhaling, remember your options. You can always bend the knees, and exhaling, folding to the legs. And then as you inhale, coming all the way up, straightening the legs, thigh muscles are active, palms together above the head, and as you exhale, float the hands down to the side body into Tadasana. So at all times, whenever you can, as you're moving through Surya Namaskara A, Sun Salutation, you keep the thigh muscles active and you keep the feet, whatever part of the feet is touching the floor, tops of the feet or the toe bases, pressing into the ground. Remember that. If you're working the foundation, everything else in the body becomes much lighter and spacious. So the next thing we're going to look at is the action in the pelvic area. So as you move through the Sun Salutation, you want to keep the lower abdomen drawn in. At the base of the pelvis, you have the pelvic floor, and you want to squeeze those muscles until they're slightly lifting and you feel very supported and secure there. Lower abdomen stays in, and this is going to support the lower back. So you're going to find safety in the lower back when you keep the lower abdomen in and the pelvic floor engaged, gently squeezing. So let's move through Surya Namaskara again. focusing on those points. So coming into Tadasana, arms are active, palms are facing inwards, shoulders away from the ears, head is centered. As you inhale, taking the arms up, palms together above the head. If you need to, you can keep the arms shoulder width apart, keeping the back of the neck nice and open. As you exhale, turning on the mat. Hinging at the hips, coming down into Uttanasana. And we're focusing here, keeping the lower abdomen in. Inhaling, halfway lift. Lower abdomen stays in. As you exhale, stepping back. Lowering down. Keeping the lower abdomen in as you come all the way down, flat on the floor. So we're doing a modified version. Inhaling, coming into baby cobra. And it's really important here that you've got the lower abdomen in. So no flabby bellies. You want to support the lower back, and the support is going to come from keeping the lower abdomen drawing in. So when you do that, you can feel the navel is lifting away from the floor. You feel that, Teresa? Good. Shoulders away from the ears, and then exhale, go down. As you inhale, coming up, pushing up and back into downward facing dog. And again, usually here, because of the position you're in, the lower abdomen is naturally in, yeah? So the front of the body is long, lifting the sit bones high. It doesn't matter if the knees are bent or straight, keep the lower abdomen drawing in. Don't let the belly flab out, lower abdomen in. Pelvic floor squeezing. And then she's going to soften her knees, exhaling and inhaling, jump or step forward towards the top of the mat. Exhaling, folding into the legs. Lower abdomen in, inhaling, coming up, rolling up through the spine, keeping the lower abdomen in. By the time she reaches this position, Urdhva Hastasana, she's still in a very integral position with lower abdomen in, thigh muscles active, shoulders away from the ears. And then she's going to exhale, bringing the arms beside her. Okay, so that's looking at the safety of the back there. Keep the lower abdomen in, guys. It's going to really support you to have a safe practice if you can focus on these points that we're going through. The next thing to look at is the shoulders. So very often when you're in the practice, the shoulders might hug up towards the ears. As much as possible, wherever you are in your practice, keep your shoulders away from the ears. Make space between the ears and the shoulders. So starting in Tadasana, feet are together. Or she can have her feet slightly apart if you've got lower back issues. And then as you inhale, take the arms up, bring the palms together above the head. And shoulders are away from the ears here, yeah? Exhaling, she's folding forward and down into Uttanasana, turning on the mat so you're sideward facing. Turn around, yep. And she's here. Shoulders are lifting away from the ears, so the neck is long, head is heavy. Again, make sure the shoulders aren't shrugging up to the ears. You're going to inhale, halfway lift. And again, finding space between the ears and the shoulders. Good. And she's going to exhale, stepping back into plank position. Same thing here. Legs are active, strong. Feet are pressing into the floor. Lower abdomen drawing in. Shoulders away from the ears. Okay? And we're going to go straight into Chaturanga Dandasana. Shoulders away from the ears. Lower abdomen in. Legs active. Inhale, coming forward and up into upward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Lower abdomen in. Legs active. And then she's pushing up and back into downward facing dog. Keeping the legs strong as she comes back. And shoulders away from the ears. It's always the same thing. It's really gets very easy to do many postures when you get these safety points. She's pressing her hands into the floor here and making sure that the index finger base is really grounding down into the floor. And as she's doing that, flattening her hands into the floor, she wants to roll the upper arms outwards. So this is broadening across the shoulders and taking the shoulders away from the ears. So it's the same thing again, shoulders away from the ears. Make sure the neck is long and relaxed and free. So no tension in the neck, the head is hanging heavy. And in this position, the gaze is towards the navel. Okay, and she's going to exhale, soften the knees and look forward. And inhale, step or jump towards the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhaling, shoulders away from the ears. Back of the neck is long. Exhale, fold into the legs. Shoulders lifting away from the ears. Neck is long. And then as she inhales, she's going to strong in the legs. Sweep the arms up. Bring the palms together. Shoulders away from the ears. And then you turn to face the front there. And then on the exhalation, releasing the hands down to the side. Very nice. So Look after your neck, guys. You need to keep the shoulders continuously pulling away from the ears so there's space for the vertebra to be free in the neck. Yeah. This position, creating tension and stress in the neck area. This position, happy necks. Hands and arms. Hands are always broad, palms are broad and fingers are spreading. Wherever you are in the sun salutations, keep this dynamic in the hands. So when you're in Tadasana, hands are facing in towards each other, and you can feel as you lengthen through the arms that the biceps roll outwards and the forearms roll inwards. So it's like a rope action through the arms. So when you roll the biceps outwards, rotating outwards through the upper arms, you get opening across the front of the chest. When you're rolling the forearms forward, you're encouraging opening over the back of the chest. So that's why these two spirals are working together. Good. So let's look at the hand action and the arm action as we move through Surya Namaskara. So as you inhale, take the arms up. Arms are long, you're lengthening into the fingertips. Palms are broad, fingers are spreading as your hands are above the head. So she's going to turn, and as she exhales, she's going to lengthen through the arms as she's hinging down and coming forward. Releasing the hands to the floor. So if your hands are flat on the floor, fingers are spreading. If you come up onto the fingertips, keep the fingers spreading. Keep the palms broad and open. If you place your hands on the shins, keep the fingers spreading. So you want your hands to remain open as you move through the practice. And then inhaling, halfway lift. She's gazing towards the third eye. And as she exhales, putting the hands down on the floor, stepping the feet back. Making sure when you come into plank position, hands are shoulder width apart and the feet are hip width apart. The hands are on the floor, flat, index finger pressing into the floor, and the arms are active. So you're lengthening through the arms, shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll take her into Chaturanga. So she's exhaling, bending the elbows, coming in, body in one line, inhaling, rolling forward and up, pressing the hands into the floor, fingers are still spreading, exhale, pushing up and back, engaging through the thigh muscles as she pushes up and back, exhaling into downward facing dog. The hands have remained in the same position for plank, for Chaturanga Dandasana, and for upward facing dog. And if you're in any of the modifications, it's still the same thing. The hands are flat on the floor, fingers are spreading. So as she's pressing her hands into the floor, she's lengthening through the arms, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Good. Exhale, soften the knees. And inhale, jump or step forward, halfway lift. Hands are still active. Exhale, fold into your legs. And then inhaling, coming all the way up. Lengthen through the arms, into the fingertips. Palms come together. Turning to face the happy viewers. And then as you exhale, release the hands down to the side body. Good.